friend and fellow co-coach Alison Keller. Morning, Alison.
Good morning, Chris.
How you doing?
I'm good.
We're just here to explore some thoughts and insights into team coaching. So Alison, you've got a particular sort of definition of team coaching. What would that be?
Yeah, so my definition is about a long-term partnership with a whole team. And I guess what I'm keen to do is help them work better and achieve more together.
Yeah.
So I keep it very simple, but there's a lot involved in terms of the journey with a team.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you have a definition?
Well, that's a good question. I think I see it as an extension to one-on-one coaching, albeit it's a far more complex environment. And it's curious when you have a conversation with a business owner or leader about having a long-term commitment. Sometimes you get resistance.
That's true.
Yeah. So you see it as a long-term partnering opportunity. Yeah. What are the benefits, you think, of a longer-term partnering engagement with the team?
Well, I'd say because of the complexity that's there, it's not achievable in a quick turnaround because you've got so many layers. And so I guess that's where setting up contracting a little bit in terms of setting expectations of what a team can achieve together helps them take a journey with some of it unknown territory that they'll go through or different terrain. So the unknown is probably a key part of the ongoing or long-term partnership, and setting an expectation that they'll experience bumps along the way. There'll be experiments that they want to try and get feedback from. So I think it's important that a team understands it's not a quick fix. Possibly even high-performing teams, until there's a bit of a benchmark that they can get some feedback against.
Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of work at the beginning that I think is important for a team to get to understand what lies ahead and what they can do with that.
I'm curious about the unknown, because literally last week I was with someone who's a professional services person, and I don't know how you find working with professionals. Sometimes they have a fixation with wanting to know the outcome or what's the value we're going to create, and so that unknown is uncomfortable for them without knowing what will be created. Have you had any experiences with teams where they've been anxious about the unknown, but they've managed to commit to a period of team coaching?
Yeah, I think that's where the diagnostic at the beginning is important, so a team has something to grasp onto. If they don't have any feedback at that beginning stage to make sense of how are we doing as a team, what is it that's working, what's not working, what does the future look like for us, what's our desired future look like. So I think that helps teams settle a little bit more around what's the current state that's in front of us, so that they can then let go maybe a little bit of the unknown to move forward to the desired state. Yeah. And so maybe that helps at the beginning in the contracting stages, setting some boundaries around diagnostic and gathering that feedback and helping the team then settle into that a bit more. Yeah,
it's something you can hang your hat on in a sense, from a data point of view and feedback point of view.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what teams are looking for at the start. And it can be varied, it can be minimal data that you use, right through to teams that might like really thorough data. Each team is very unique and have different expectations.
Yeah. So we're Alice and I trained in the Clutterbuck, Professor David Clutterbuck's PERILL model, which when I first heard the word peril, I thought, oh my gosh, the team's in peril, but it's actually double L.
It is.
It's still quite a quirky name. How would you say, in your experience as a leadership coach, Alison, how would you distinguish the PERILL diagnostic maybe from other diagnostics, or is there anything distinctive about that particular model?
I think that model in particular has been designed for complex adaptive systems and teams fit into that space. So it really helps the team understand the interconnections that are possible between the 6 elements that are there. So I've really leveraged, I guess, the opportunity with that tool and used it very flexibly from a very thorough diagnostic right through to conversation with the different elements that are there. But I do find it has a good fit for teams. I haven't tried it with individual coaching, actually, as a pause and think around that. It could have potential as well in that space.
Yeah. Just if anyone's listening to this thinking, what's a complex adaptive system? How would you frame that for viewers?
From my perspective in describing it, it's the different systems that we don't always see. So there are many layers. A team is one system, an individual is a system. Then you've got key stakeholders, and then it just keeps expanding from there. So there are connections again. I think that keep them together. How about you? Have you got thinking on that?
From my coach education standpoint, when I first came by the term, I really didn't know what it was. And then you launch into the systemic coaching methodology and conceiving that teams and stakeholders are all systems, which initially I took as being quite a scientific, almost laboratorial kind of definition. But you're quite right. It's I think the adaptive space is that everything's shifting and growing and changing all at the same time, even though a lot of it's unconscious and not intentional. So that is the complexity that we see and are faced with team coaching.
And I think the other element there is that sometimes we don't know the impact. When one system changes, it impacts another system, and it can be a real knock-on effect that sometimes is not visible immediately. And so being able to step back and take that wider lens is something that we really encourage in that team coaching space, so that they're not just stuck in internal lens, and they really are looking outside at the environment as far as they can to see the impact of what they're doing.
That's awesome. Oh, wow. Well, I hope you took something away from that short discussion today with Alison, and we'll see you soon on the next episode. Bye for now.